Hello again, Chris Lee, Chase Robinson, and Jay Greeson here to give you three bold predictions for Oklahoma football for 2005. We're doing this around the middle of August. Anyway, this video is sponsored by our friends at FanDuel. You've got player props, you've got same game parlays. FanDuel's SGP menu is deep and impressive. So you can really build some fun combinations around player performances and game outcomes. It's got you covered with competitive odds and tons of betting options. Just remember to bet responsibly. Have fun with it. Jay, you've got any bets on the Sooners you like over at FanDuel?
As far as I think John Mateer it's amazing how FanDuel's SEC props really embrace how deep and good this league's going to be. Mateer is at plus 2,500 to win the Heisman. And I think because of his ability and his comfort with Ben Arbuckle's system, I'm okay with that. I would much rather bet Mateer at plus 2,500 than I would like Ty Simpson at plus 1,600.
Yeah.
Which means if you bet $100, you win 1,600.
Yeah, no doubt.
No, I think Mateer's upside, but it's a loaded quarterback class. Of the 16 quote unquote favorites on FanDuel to win the Heisman, 9 of them are SEC quarterbacks.
Yeah, I think John Mateer is also poised for a big year for reasons we'll get into later in the video. Also, we are sponsored by our friends at GameTime SIDEKICKS. It is stainless steel, officially licensed drinkware. All SEC schools, over 350 more universities. Top of the market quality in terms of construction and ice retention. Tons of designs and logos offered for every school, even the college vault line. Everything from stainless steel sippy cups, tumblers, 40-ounce bottles, and shaker cups. SE16 gets you a 20% discount at GameTimeSidekicks.com. All right, first up in this, Jay Greeson, your bold prediction for the Oklahoma Sooners.
I think they narrowly go over the 7.5 win total at FanDuel with 8 wins, but I think they take a crazy path to get there. Surprising loss to Auburn, but a win over Michigan, among others. But I think the takeaway from this season is going to be the steal hire of the offseason. And it's not Ben Arbuckle. It's adding Jim Nagy in the modern version GM role that Brent Venables, when he lured Nagy, the longtime Senior Bowl chairman, to come be his GM, he's giving him command of talent evaluation, of roster construction, and it's going to allow the football coaches to coach. And in this modern era where major college football is now minor league NFL football, more and more programs are going to follow this model. You saw what Bill Belichick did, bringing in Mike Lombardi, a former NFL GM. I think this is going to be the MO for major college programs going forward.
Chase, you're in Alabama. Jim Nagy, a very well-respected figure down there. I mean, what a hire by the Sooners with that one.
Oh, tremendous. I mean, because and you bring up Lombardi, who's been an NFL GM now in North Carolina. Like, if you didn't go get an NFL GM, I think the next best person would be Jim Nagy, who's been in that role pretty much there with the Senior Bowl. A lot of these GMs in colleges are more of like the, player personnel director, kind of moved into the GM. Recruiting guys, like they haven't been in a GM type role. And so, yeah, for Oklahoma to go get Jim Nagy, who had just did a tremendous job. And I've talked with so many people who cover the Senior Bowl closely, who are down in Mobile and just loved what he did with the Senior Bowl. And so, yeah, the fact that Oklahoma was able to go get him, he is so good at seeing talent. And I think that is going to be huge for Oklahoma in the long run to have him in the front office, if you will, of Oklahoma football. But yeah, that was a steal for Oklahoma to be able to go get him and have him in the building. And he's unlike other GMs, and not to knock any of them, but he has been in that role. Like, I feel like he understands it more than a lot of these college GMs do.
Yeah, of course, the Sooners were pretty good in free agency a year ago, landing John Mateer and Oslo, their third quarterback, Whit Neubauer from Mercer. They landed several guys in the receiving room and tight end room that'll help them maybe. Big additions on defense in Marvin Jones Jr. from Florida State and Kendall Daniels from Oklahoma State. But I left out maybe the biggest one not named, John Mateer, and that's where we get to you here, Chase Robinson.
Yeah, so my prediction is that Oklahoma has a 1,000-yard rusher, and that is Jayden Jackson. You look back to last year as far as the running game goes for Oklahoma. Javante Barnes led the Sooners with 577 yards rushing, so it was not a great year on the ground. I think they improved greatly this year. Barnes is back. They got a Torrey Blaylock, who's in that room as well, 4-star guy. But then Jayden Jackson comes in. He was had a little over 1,300 yards a couple of years ago at Cal. When he's healthy, he's really good, and I think he's getting to be that. And I think we will see him do really big things at Oklahoma. But I really like him. I like the way he runs. I think he'll be a 1,000-yard guy, and Oklahoma really needs that. They really need, especially after last year, they really need kind of that workhorse in the backfield, and I definitely think that could be Jayden Jackson.
Yeah,
Well,
I thought – go ahead, Jay.
Well, I mean, I'll tell you what's unbelievably interesting is could they have two? Because John Mateer in Ben Arbuckle's offense ran for 826 yards last year, so technically he's their leading rusher from 2024.
Wow. Yeah.
I mean, not at Oklahoma, but Ott wasn't at Oklahoma either, and Ott battled the injuries. I mean, I think they will have a 1,000-yard rusher and a 3,000-yard passer. I mean, I think there's a lot to like about Oklahoma talent-wise, but this is an arduous task that they're being challenged with. I read a stat. I know we kicked around a little bit on the AP poll yesterday as it was coming out, Chase. Kurt Signetti, you may need to start apologizing a little bit after mouthing off that Indiana followed the SEC scheduling formula, because I'm going to call BS on that, brother. Oklahoma plays 7 ranked teams. Penn State and Indiana combined play 6 ranked teams.
Yeah, we're going to have some stuff coming up on the schedule in a couple of days, by the way. Boy, will Oklahoma be featured prominently there. And you're right. I mean, the Big Ten schedules are nothing like what they see in the SEC. On the other hand, John Mateer and Jayden Jackson are going to see tougher competition than they've seen before. But, Oklahoma health was a problem roster-wide last year on the line. I think even at running back. Jayden Jackson 2 years ago, forget last year's numbers, 2 years ago, he ran for 1,305 yards and caught passes for another 196. As a true freshman, he ran for nearly 900 yards, or I say a freshman. I don't know if he's a true freshman or not. But Jayden Jackson, when he was healthy at Cal, put up some big numbers. And I didn't even think when you said 1,000-yard rusher, Chase, that was a smart move. You left yourself a little wiggle room in case it's not Jayden Jackson, because I hadn't thought about John Mateer as that guy, because you don't see quarterbacks rush for that many. But, hey, a year ago, he ran for 826 yards at Washington State. Again, he's not going to see the same kind of defenses. And I think if they run for 1,000 yards, you may wish he hadn't because of the beating he'll take in that. But the point is, Oklahoma's got a lot of really good dudes who can run the football. 2 guys that have got a proven track record of doing it. And there's a great place to start an offense. Okay, I'm going to shift sides of the ball, guys, because Oklahoma's offense got all the focus last year for the wrong reasons. And what that obscured was a defense that was pretty good in its own regard. In fact, the defense keyed an upset of Alabama a season ago. Oklahoma last year, if you adjust for sacks, allowed only 3.9 yards per rushing play. I think if you leave sacks in there, Oklahoma was, 4th or 5th in the conference in rushing defense. Of course, teams ran it on them a lot because other teams had leads and just didn't really need to throw the ball a lot. This year, I think teams are going to run the ball less against Oklahoma in terms of volume because they're going to have to throw the ball to catch up with the offense that's going to pick up points. That's one thing. But I think number two, you look at this defense, guys, you look at what Oklahoma has got coming back up front. R. Mason Thomas at an end spot, Jayden Jackson at a tackle, Damonic Williams also in the middle of the line. Those are all three guys that are getting some lower level and even higher level all SEC consideration, anywhere from second to fourth team. Gracen Halten, I guess, is a backup, really good player for them. David Stone, also same thing, 5-star recruit from a year ago. Now, they lost Danny Stutzman, but they brought in Marvin Jones Jr. from Florida State to help them out a little bit at linebacker. He'll be a backup, but that's depth. And then Kendall Daniels, we mentioned him earlier. I just feel like they are really good in the trenches, and particularly on the defensive line. And with teams maybe having to throw to keep up with what the Sooners are doing, I think Oklahoma is your team that leads the conference in rush defense, guys.
I think it's important because the portal's now part of our everyday vernacular. I think it's really important, at least in my view, you address a whole lot. You can overhaul an offense relatively quickly through the portal. But boy, oh boy, and one of the reasons I support the potential of that projection, Chris, is I am drawn to defenses that have had guys in their system for multiple years. They know the intricacies. They've been in the weight room. It's been a whole bunch of guys who have played together. And if you've got cohesion on defense, you've got a chance to be special. And there are a lot of seniors and juniors who have spent multiple years in Norman up and down that depth chart.
Yeah, and I think when you look at Oklahoma's defense this year, the fact that Brent Venables will have his hand in it, like I think that will say a lot, and we'll see that. Like he's a great defensive mind, and for him to when there's a lot of pressure on Oklahoma, there's a lot of pressure on Brent Venables, and for him to say, "Hey, I'm going to have my hand in the defense, and if I go down, we're gonna be playing like I want us to be playing." So I feel like there is going to be an edge to the defense. I feel like this year because Brent Venables is going to make sure that he has his hand in that, creating what he wants to defensively.
Yeah, and I count my rushing defense. I take sacks out of it because sacks are pass plays. But even if you do it old school like it is on the stat sheet, the sack machine for the Sooners is still there. R. Mason Thomas had 9 of them a year ago. Halten had, I believe, 5. Marvin Jones had 4 at Florida State. So, and Daniels had 5.5 at Oklahoma State. So whether you count your rush defense by including sacks in them or taking them out, I think Oklahoma is really primed to defend the run really well. Okay, on our way out, I'm going to throw it to Jay in just a minute to cue up something he likes on the Sooners at FanDuel. We got one more bonus one for you on the way out. Before we get there, just a quick reminder, we are also brought to you by ROKFORM, which makes tremendous stuff. It is the world's strongest magnetic phone case. It has extreme protection and super strong magnets, Rock Lock secure mounting. It is the most durable and multifunctional phone case you'll find. Also great accessories for things to hold them to your car dash, golf speakers, all kinds of things. The quality is tremendous. It is paramount. You can expect military-grade standards with their case accessories, just like you do the actual cases. Go to rockform.com, ROKFORM.com. Enter promo code SEC25 for 25% off your order. Also remind you, FanDuel sponsors our stuff, from player props, same game parlays. They've got you covered with competitive odds on just about everything. Jay Greeson, give us something you like regarding the Sooners, or maybe something else that catches your eye right now at FanDuel.
Well, I know you kind of touched on it, but I'm going to be bullish on Oklahoma overs, especially early. I've already said I think they beat Michigan in week 2, but as of right now on FanDuel, you can get that total under 48. But I would go over because I think Oklahoma is going to score some points, and it's going to force the opposition to escalate their play a little bit too. So, but there's a lot to like about the talent Oklahoma has acquired. That is such a difficult schedule to navigate. It's hard to see them getting much north of 8.
Yeah.
In terms of the win total.
And boy, if they do, even getting to 8, they will have earned it, and then some. And 9, I think Oklahoma, I hope they do it a different way, because if the Sooners win 9 regular season games, they're going to be deserving of a playoff berth. We'll see if they get there. We'll cover the Sooners all year. Yeah.
You get Oklahoma at FanDuel at plus 470 to make the playoff.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah, the schedule is the obstacle, and we'll see what the committee does with that if it's close. But we'll have you covered with the Sooners all year. Just subscribe to the channel. That's free. We've got you covered in football, baseball, and basketball. For Jay Greeson and Chase Robinson, I'm Chris Lee. You've been watching Southeastern 16. God bless you. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again soon.